You know, the one part in this game that they forgot to include in the show was when you're just kind of walking around the city, you're strolling along happy and merry, and then all of a sudden you accidentally activate a sneaky little hidden tripwire that explodes in your face, you end up dead, and you end up going back to a checkpoint from roughly around 3 hours ago. I love and I hate you so very much.
Ever kill one?
Yeah.
Is it hard? Knowing they were people once?
How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my channel, and time for the first TV reviews edition of 2023. And what a way we are kicking Luke's TV reviews off in this year with what is quite possibly the most anticipated TV show of the entire year. It is an adaptation of a beloved and critically acclaimed video game, HBO's The Last of Us. Set in an alternate 2023, the world has been ravaged by a lethal virus, turning humans into fungal, ravaging creatures. We meet Joel, a man who life has chewed and spit back out, doing whatever he must to keep his head above water with his partner in crime, Tess. They soon run into a rebel group known as the Fireflies. In desperate need of help, they turn to Joel and Tess to look after and transport a girl named Ellie. What's so special about Ellie? Well, she may hold the key to developing a cure and potentially be able to save the world. Makes sense to get it out of the way first in this review. Yes, I have played The Last of Us. Yes, I do think it is one of the greatest video games ever made. And yes, I think it is straight up one of the best stories ever. I'm not an idiot. But when it was announced that a live-action television show was in production, I was a little skeptical because we all know how nasty that live-action video game adaptation curse can really be. But then again, The Last of Us is, without question, the most cinematic game ever created. So you would think that that would lend itself to a live-action adaptation. And then my fears were soon quelled, because not only did HBO hire video game creator Neil Druckmann to produce and helm the series, they also got on board Craig Mazin, who was in charge and the main showrunner for Chernobyl. At that point, then I knew that we were in safe hands. And boy, oh boy, this did not disappoint. Without a shadow of a doubt, this is the greatest video game adaptation that we've ever had. They got near enough everything spot on. The casting, the production design, the apocalyptic scope, but at the same time, never losing focus of the heartache that is constantly driving this story forward. Spoilers from here on out, by the way. I'm going to assume that if you're continuing to watch this video, you either don't care about spoilers, or you have seen the show and you have also played the video game. Mazin was a genius when he helmed Chernobyl and crafted one of the most disturbing and, quite frankly, depressing shows of all time. So thankfully he was able to transplant the same sense of hopelessness into The Last of Us. Right from the off, the opening episode did such a good job, not of just adapting the video game almost shot for shot, although it does it really freaking well, but capturing the essence of what makes it so engaging. I really appreciated the couple of prologues that we had. The one with John Hannah explaining how we'd just straight up lose if this virus were to ever get out of control, and the lady ordering to bomb the city because at this point it's beyond saving. As someone who had played the game, I was never all that concerned about spoilers because I knew the general direction that this show was going to go in anyway, but what I really did appreciate were the new and fresh additions to the story. Now, the first 2 episodes, they basically stuck to the video game like glue, but it was in episode 3 where we basically detract from Joel and Ellie almost entirely and instead focus on one of the most heartfelt and heartbreaking episodes of television with Frank and Bill. Episode 7 also went on a bit of a detour, flashing back with Ellie and her friend Riley, and look, I know I get the purpose of that episode was to begin transitioning Ellie to be the main character rather than Joel, but for me, at least when I played the game, that transition into whose story this is actually becoming came in the events of what we see in the show in episode 8, where Ellie is battling against David and his really creepy ways and that commune that he's created. For me, that was when the lead character almost shifted into Ellie. I felt like her flashback with Riley could have even been saved until season 2, or perhaps introduced slightly earlier into the show so we can get some of that earlier on. I don't know if it needed an entire episode for that. But let's talk about Joel and Ellie, shall we? Pedro Pascal is clearly making a name for himself playing stone-faced characters who are tasked with looking after a child that slowly melts their heart. And he is bloody brilliant at it. Joel is an amazingly complex character because even though he's not a bad guy, this world has taken such a toll on him that he will do whatever he needs to keep his head above water, even if his actions aren't the most peaceful or resolute. But it's only as his relationship with Ellie actually begins to develop that he starts to realize that that sense of hope that was once lost is now finding its way back within him. And Bella Ramsey as Ellie was pitch perfect casting. From the attitude, the constant swearing, Ramsey plays Ellie as semi-world weary, but still retaining the fact that Ellie is a child stuck in an unfathomable situation. In terms of other characters and performances that stood out to me, Nick Offerman and Murray Bartlett broke my damn heart as Bill and Frank, and Lamar Johnson did a great job as Henry, alongside his little brother Sam, who they cast a deaf actor, for which added just another layer to their already lovable relationship. The one casting choice that didn't quite work for me was Melanie Lynskey as Kathleen. Now, I get the idea for Lynskey's casting to be someone who just appeared to be like an everyday sort of person who could just snap, but I never found the right level of intensity from Lynskey's performance. In both the visual effects and production design, HBO have really pulled out all the stops to bring this world to life, and in a way that I honestly never thought could ever be possible. My only other slight complaint is there is a lack of clicker action. Now, I know clickers, they're not even secondary to this game. They're almost like a tertiary component to playing this game. However, you do a lot of it when playing. You are having to sneak around, avoid, and fight clickers quite often. So basing it on that, I was a little disappointed that we didn't have more confrontations or more encounters with them. As I said, I know that they're not important to the story. I could have just done with a bit more. Season 1 of The Last of Us was as close to a perfect adaptation as it could conceivably be. Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey are two of the greatest pieces of casting, I'd argue, in anything ever. They bring these characters to life in a genuine, authentic manner, and Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann do the same in their respective roles too. The essence and spirit of the game is visible throughout, really nailing that glimmer of light in a hopeless world. It's a series that will keep you hooked, whether you've played the game or not, and will likely leave you yearning for more after the finale. Just God help us all when Season 2 comes around. So, I'm going to give The Last of Us Season 1 an 8.5 out of 10. Anyway guys, those were my thoughts on The Last of Us. Let me know, have you had a chance to see the show yet? What did you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And my question to you, what video game would you like to see have a TV series made of it? Now, when I was writing my notes up for this, I actually put down God of War. And it was then when I was doing a little bit of research that I found out they are planning to make a God of War TV show, which is amazing. However, if you don't cast either Triple H or Christopher Judge to play Kratos, I ain't interested. But that is all we have time for here today, so thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hello, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, make sure to click that like button, and if you aren't already, click that subscribe button too.